Hi, I'm Clayton Collins, CEO at HW Media, and today I'm joined by Mark Walser, President at Incenter Appraisal Management.
Thank you, Clayton. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Today, Mark and I are going to discuss remote desktop appraisals and some of the learnings that our industry has gained over the last 6 months. Mark, it's been more than 6 months since the announcement that the GSEs would begin to permanently accept desktop appraisals for conventional loans. What has the industry learned since that time? And where is there room for improvement?
Yeah, I think there's both learning and improvement here, right? The surprise, I think, that took a lot of the lending industry was they were expecting this new desktop to sort of mirror the COVID flexibility of the past. And it turns out this is actually basically a new product, right? It requires an interior floor plan with wall partitions, and it also requires some verification from the appraiser. So a lot of vendors weren't really prepared to provide those floor plans. Certainly real estate companies are in the nascent stages of creating floor plans. More and more of them are starting to do so, which is good. But that was really, I think, kind of slowing a little bit of the adoption here in the first 90 days. Now we're pivoting to a point where I think these requirements are being understood. Lenders are starting to work more and more with vendors like ourselves, like Incenter, that can turnkey the floor plan in our process, and there's several others that are doing the same. So as lenders start to explore this, as appraisers start to become more comfortable with what the requirements are, and as they turn to companies like us that have an answer for things like floor plans, I think you will see increased adoption and prevalence for these. Right now, and again, also remember they are kind of, they're framed right now around the purchase appraisal, right? 90% LTV or better scenario in the Fannie and Freddie world. Well, over time, as these become adopted, I think you'll see potentially some widening there as well. So that's where the industry is now. And in terms of improvements, I think the main thing is just for the industry to keep on working with and discovering solutions like ours that can turnkey the entire process for an appraiser and for a lender.
With these learnings in mind, how can appraisers and lenders best meet desktop appraisal requirements and generate floor plans?
I think for the lenders, the best thing that they can do is, first of all, have vendors that have a clear product and a solution that can turnkey this process for them and for their appraisers. So for example, our product Incenter's Remote Val does exactly that. And there are other solutions out there that do the same. On the back end though, at a more realistic level, if there is no floor plan like that, their appraisers need to understand that they have approved the use of products that can do it. If a appraiser is hearing from a lender, you can use this Remote Val tool to create a floor plan, then the appraiser is going to be more likely to adopt it. The second thing is to understand the technology behind it. So we use 3D scanning, for example, to actually generate an image and create a model of the home, and that's how we generate a floor plan. So that technology is out there. It's very prevalent. It's on almost all phones. And I think a lender can best be served, again, by just working with vendors that have the technology and can articulate a clear vision for how to use it and how to deploy it.
There's been a lot of buzz about how this news impacts lenders, appraisers, and consumers. But let's take a minute to talk about another really important constituent in the housing transaction, real estate agents. How can real estate agents best partner with lenders to streamline the appraisal process?
Right. There's nothing more that a real estate agent wants more than a fast, smooth appraisal closing, right? For appraisal transaction to assist with the closing. So this is where real estate companies are already, in many cases, working to create the types of floor plans and the types of assets that might be able to be used by a mortgage lender in the process. For example, if they're creating a floor plan that matches up with these desktop appraisal requirements, at the same time, they're getting the listing photographed and getting it ready to put on the MLS, and that floor plan could, in theory, be used by the mortgage company right away, and you wouldn't have to struggle to find an appraiser who can do a floor plan or create one or whatever. You could just use it. We're working with several leading real estate providers and companies to do exactly that, using Remote Val, for example, to put the floor plan into the listing and enable an appraiser-grade floor plan up front in the real estate process. Real estate companies and agents do understand this. They definitely get it. And as long as they have access to turnkey solutions like ours that can assist with the data, that's going to help them grease the skids for the mortgage companies down the line and make this entire process come together a lot faster and more smoothly.
Mark, I can't thank you enough for joining us today to share your knowledge and expertise. It is really impressive how much innovation has been done around the desktop appraisal process. And I can't wait to continue this conversation as the wave of momentum continues to build around the adoption of desktop appraisals. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me and for HousingWire's role in pushing this out as well.